Hold on. Hold on.
Okay.
Well, we've got 3 right now that are coming into the meeting, and I'm not sure how many more will come, but Veronica says she wants to be a part of this meeting, and she just got out of jail, and so I need to text her. See, I can't record and text at the same time, though, because I don't know what's going on. Let me check. Let me see if I can do this.
Okay.
Yes. All right, it's working now. So she's just now logging into Zoom, and I have to tell her that all videos are edited before publishing. So how are you doing, Fernando?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah?
Got back from the protest in San Francisco.
Good. Yeah, I was hearing about that. How did that go?
It went good.
You know, they were talking.
Huh?
Now, what were they talking about? This whole thing of deciding which files to have the judges look at and stuff. What was that all about?
Oh no, they're still trying to withhold those documents, and there's a secret record. So that secret record is basically being kept from the public, and they want it. They can't proceed. The audit can't proceed without the audit having full details and exposure to the public of all of the complaints, the judicial misconduct complaints. So if they don't have all of that, the state audit can't do their job.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of trying to figure out, because some people were saying how they were going to censor the documents that the audit was going to be in review of or not.
But the audit did address the federal funding and said that the state will be cut off of their federal funding if they don't give the complaints, because if the audit can't audit, that they will take action to deprive the state of all of the federal funding.
Okay.
So, meaning that they would prohibit until they got the complaints to the public, that they would hinder or they would stop all federal funding until that happened. So.
Okay. Wow. Well, I want to.
That was from the auditor.
I want to welcome Veronica. I want to say hi and welcome to Veronica. She just got out of jail today for trying to file federal action against, was it the Department of Children and Families, or who exactly was it?
Yes. I was illegally arrested on Halloween. First year, I did not get to see my children for Halloween in 16 years. I was first told that I missed a court date. Actually, they got into the hotel because they RR'd me last week for my license is suspended again for the 5th time since last year, illegally. Okay, when they took me in, they weren't sure what the warrant was for. So I told them at the police station, I said, well, you know what? You entered my residence illegally. You had no court order and no warrant. So they said, well, that's not the law. I said, I have all the laws printed out in the hotel room. Okay. So here you came in, I let you in because you told me, you worked with me last week. So I gave you the opportunity. I'm sitting here at the police station and you have no reason, you don't even know what I'm here for. So here, Gloucester County refused to pick me up. And that's who issued the court order. So I got taken into Camden County Jail. And they tried to keep me until November 7th. And the reason they tried to keep me till November 7th is so I couldn't file a federal lawsuit against Orlando Mercado. He works within the school district who was bullying my 2 children and myself. I tried to file mediation last October with the New Jersey Board of Education because my two boys, my one son David is autistic. His IDA Act was broken in 2014. My son Matthew was born disabled. The state of New Jersey has a state ID. We go to mediation, and Orlando Mercado's there. He is the president of Gloucester Township School District. He's not allowed to work in the school district also. That's illegal. So when I get, all of a sudden I get a notice, I'm filed for truancy within Gloucester Township. We tried to put my son Matthew in school because Matthew was petrified to go to school because he was being bullied the year before by his teacher. My son was a straight A student. But all of a sudden, his teacher, no matter what he did, was wrong. He wasn't a good reader. He wasn't this. He's been a better reader than David. Both my boys' rights have been violated since June 2010. They were both said to no longer be disabled. I took them to Gloucester County Health Services.
Children's rights are repeatedly denied. Children's rights are repeatedly
What's that?
By Department of Children.
Yes, my children.
And this is.
But my children's rights were denied by Gateway School District. They said they were no longer disabled in June 2010. Okay. And then, but Gloucester County Health Services found Matthew to still have a gross motor delay on May 5th, 2011. And David was officially diagnosed autistic January 7th, 2011. He was diagnosed autistic in my home January 30th, 2008, in home early intervention. I had the state of New Jersey in my home from August 2007 to August 2009. Because Matthew was born with a state ID disabled, I was told in August 2007 my child was never going to walk or talk. I taught him how to walk. I taught him how to talk. But all of a sudden, the school district was being sued, Department of Education in Washington, D.C. They forged my signature, forged emails to Department of Education. I have been fighting for these children's rights ever since.
Now,
So
Veronica,
my sister gave.
I'm sorry, I want to cut you off. I apologize.
That's okay.
You know that we do have a few guests here. This is
Okay.
private communication, but we're talking as far as parent advocates, what's going on and what we're doing to try to stop it from continuing to happen. Now, Fernando just talked about some audits that are happening in the state of California. And I wonder if there's any audits that are being considered in the state of New Jersey at this time.
Well, the state of New Jersey, Judge Grant just warned these judges and about violating people who stand in front of them, disability rights. That's how I got out of jail. I wrote up that they were violating my federal disability rights. Okay, so they switched me from one, and I was going to file a federal deprivation lawsuit. They switched me to another jail that quickly. And then on video court yesterday, I was told that I didn't miss a court hearing. I missed because I had a $500 arrest warrant issued for me for not filing a complaint, an answer to a complaint in July to my license being suspended, but I did answer it. I outran 6 cops with my van because I didn't know what to do. I'm trying to protect my children's disability rights and protect myself at the same time. We were illegally evicted from our apartment complex, August 2016. I'm still fighting for that. Took the stuff to the courthouse. They should have never went to court because it was 1 month behind. You got to be 90 days behind rent in order to go. But you got court clerks accepting cases being paid by people. The boy's principal at that time was the head of council. Another illegal thing, I've gone to my senators, I've gone to Governor Christie. Nothing's getting done. The Attorney General is waiting for all the paperwork so they can go after these people. But by the time I get everything done, it's going to take me forever because I got to make copies of all the boys' stuff going back to 2010. David was denied a jury trial because he's a victim of a violent crime. So my kids' rights have been violated big time. And now I'm being targeted. They were removed from their school March 8, 2012, illegally. I never did anything wrong. The school was breaking their rights. The judge still found me guilty despite after throwing everything out because she charged me child support when I had no income. Next judge changes it to TANF. How can you do that? You can't. It's illegal. 2 different investigations, Lara, with under the same case number. That's illegal.
Yes, it is.
And I printed out all the court rules and everything, so I'm going after them federally. I have Christian David Lloyd. He's a lawyer. He just sent me all the citations and everything to file all these federal lawsuits by Monday before Election Day on Tuesday, because they tried to keep me in court until Tuesday in jail. But I knew my rights. I have a brother that was a lawyer, and then I had a sister who was an attorney at CPS in Indiana, working for the system. All of a sudden, they handed her a case about 4 years ago, and they wanted her to lie. But she followed her oaths and wanted to go for it. So I know the miss. I know all the laws they break, and I know my rights. I know you can't come into my home with a legal weapon in the state of New Jersey. As far as getting that done, I don't know. I'm trying to national organization for Republican assemblies because we found 2016 Title 4D and 8, so it cannot be taken from us, adopt out, and that's what we need.
Yes. And
I know New Jersey doesn't have it.
I don't know what your cellular connection is right now, but you are cutting in and out. I really.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. I really applaud you for going federal. Fernando has material on laws about federal suits, and we're trying to share this information with as many people as possible because there's still some debate, so to speak, as to whether or not we.
But I have to keep
lawsuits against the
You see, every time I go speak, I just called. This is the thing. I just called about my son's case. They were here October 25th, and I called October 27th. And here, the woman gave me her name, the time I called, and everything. And I had my identity was stolen, so I had to switch my phone number and all. All of a sudden, there's an arrest warrant for me on Halloween.
Well, I'm glad that you're out of jail, and I would like to take this opportunity to welcome our new guest here tonight to the Parent Advocate Network. We are Parent Advocate Network through the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Families. We are here as parents who have gone through and are going through CPS and other family court matters. And we're here to share our experiences and what we're doing to fight back and to help others fight back. And so I would like to welcome our new member calling us by phone. Hello, welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes, I can. And everybody else?
Okay, hi. This is Michelle Chan. I'm really glad to finally, and thank you for the reminder, Lara. If you can do that half an hour every time, I'll be here every time. My name is Michelle Chan. I'll set an alarm, Lara. I'm just joking. I'm Michelle Chan, and I'm an advocate in San Francisco. I'm really glad to be a part of this network, and and I'm glad to hear that there's someone here sharing, her heartbreaking story. But it's just having the fact that you picked up whether it's the phone or the Zoom conference or however you got looped in here, it's something that not everyone is doing, and thank you. Thank you for speaking out and looking for solutions, and hopefully, just doing that and fighting will give strength for more people. It's the first step. And, you know, and I wanted to, you know, when I was going through this, all I can say is I went through, you know, I was very, very isolated, and I didn't know any of the answers. And I, just like you, I went everywhere. I complained to everybody in the entire state of California. I even complained to the White House, and the White House forwarded my complaint to Children's Bureau, who forwarded me to the California Department of Social Services, who did nothing. And it got to the point where, you know, and so I have learned a few things about the Senate recently. Your senator is not going to care. The FBI is not going to care unless you can find other victims that will stand with you. If you can go in together as a group and maybe put your complaints down, letters down in writing, and show them that it's a systemic issue. And if you can show that there's some amount of public support, that's the only time they will listen. And I know that may seem like a lot of work, but I encourage you, you know, to every time you meet another victim, you know, get their phone numbers, stay in contact with them. And you never know, hopefully one day your network may be bigger than you realize. And then when you go in, you guys can go in together, and they may just listen to you.
Now, Pamela Olson was on our Parent Advocate Network a couple of weeks ago, and she was talking about how she's got some people all across the nation she's working with. Her organization is Save Our Children. I don't know. I think, Michelle, you've met her, haven't you?
Yeah. Is this Lyra that's speaking?
This is Lyra speaking, yes.
Okay, sorry. Yes, I have. I've worked with her before. I've met her. She's somewhat local. She's only a few counties over, and she's definitely doing work along these lines, and she's organized. You know, so you know, it's great to have her also, you know, as a participant in this cause.
It is very wonderful that we're getting together. I was looking, see, the reason that I created the Parent Advocate Network is actually upon the suggestion and frustration of many parents who are lost and get all kinds of conflicting information as to how to proceed in fighting for their rights and for their children's rights and for the parents and for the family rights. And so I started on this journey to investigate and share the information that I gathered. And, you know, part of the Parent Advocate Network's goal is to have all kinds of people who have dealt with this situation to talk about their experiences. And so thank you very much, Michelle, for opening up and sharing a little bit of your story tonight. I would like to take a moment to welcome both Misty and Ryan, who have also joined the Parent Advocate Network. And if anybody would like to say hi that hasn't said hi so far, please chime in.
Hello.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, who's this?
It's Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. Ryan, are you in what county and state are you located in?
I'm in Maricopa in Arizona. And yeah, well, I call it hell on earth, but.
Sorry. Well, Arizona definitely needs strong voices in people fighting back. I know the problem is really significant there, and you know, I've heard it has one of the highest removal rates in the entire country. So I'm glad to hear that there are more advocates speaking out and coming together in that state.
18,000 kids removed in a year.
Yeah.
Just in one county. I think we're holding. I think we're honestly holding the goal. We're number one in removals.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was talking.
Go for it, Michelle.
Yes, and there was some. I was speaking to somebody and one of the members of my group yesterday, and she, you know, we're located out of San Francisco, and she's just very affected by what's going on. And she said to me, she says, "I can't believe that this is going on in San Francisco. I can only imagine what's going on in the rest of the country, because San Francisco is supposed to be one of the most liberal cities in the country, and you know, and we're supposed to really have. I mean, we're a sanctuary city, and yet it's just to see this go on it's insane. And I know that the problem is even worse in many many areas. I've talked to someone out of Fresno, and some places just have even less. I can only imagine, in some small towns down in the Atlantic Southeast. That's just my 2 points. I'm just glad that people are coming together now.
Well, I hear that they're even starting to target families that are coming into this country or illegal immigrants in this country, and they're taking their children and then sending the parents back in some places.
Oh, yeah.
Well, down in San Bernardino in county, I guess that event took place I think it was last year, and it was because of religion. They placed a child with a non-religious couple or something like that, and they were like Arab or something, and it caused all this, animosity towards their Health and Human Services. And they actually had someone going in with a gun, and they shot several people because of that. And it was a religious outbreak, So it kind of sucks that those things are happening, and how they're taking away kids from those families as well, being that they don't live here,
Yeah.
No one is safe in America today, and this is something that is extremely tragic, and it is my hope that we as parent advocates can stop this terrible tide from continuing to destroy everything that we hold as humanity.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, hey, Lyrica, I know I've asked you this before many times, but I'm wondering, when I refer people over to, because a lot of the people that I do my outreach to are people from our marginalized populations that don't really necessarily have access to technology. They have government issued phones. Is there an easy way for them to access the Coalition for the Advocacy Service on your website if they can't? Because some of them don't really have access to internet.
There is. I would
love
if they have a phone that is anywhere, it doesn't even have to be an iPhone. If it's a 4G phone, they should be able to go to the Coalition site at www.coalition4protection.com. And there are resources there that they can look at directly. We are working to get the parent advocate service with live assistance up and running. It's been a little bit bumpy. It's hard to keep up. I have people signed up, but it's hard for them to remember to come. And I believe that one of the things that would probably help a lot of people is to schedule like an hour a day or a week, depending on what individuals have available, where they can be logged on. And then the way that the website is being set up, and I'm still working on this, mind you, and I'm doing this all by myself without any financial assistance. I'm not being paid for this. I've been working really hard to provide information for each state, because each state has its own rules and regulations, which sometimes coincide with the federal government laws, but sometimes are in conflict with them. Excuse me.
So so here's the thing: is I have a lot of advocacy that I'd be more than happy to outsource or refer over to this. And if it's also simple, like if they can call in at a certain time, like something like this. Is this a time, the parent advocacy, these meetings, a time when I can have other people that like victim parents that need assistance to call in? And also, I'd also be willing, what's that?
So Michelle, this is what's going on right now. For the time being, I have, since I started this online service, I've been using free software. And I have been working with my fundraising activities to get enough money together so that I can have unlimited calls on every day through Zoom.
Okay, well, Lara, I'd like to make a donation if I can, and I don't have a lot of money, but if it's just, you know, if that's a situation, then I can help with the fundraising. I love what you guys do. You're probably there's such a need for what you do, and I want to support this effort. And I know I haven't been around as often. I need to get an organizer. I apologize. It's not from lack of wanting to. I really support your and I want to support your efforts more. So, you know, just maybe we can talk at some point about, you know, what the needs and, you know, how I can help.
There are several ways that we can proceed. We have on the website, there's a donation button through PayPal that you can click on and donate through there. And you can donate as little as $5 all the way up. We're very flexible with that. I would like to be able to get ribbons out, awareness ribbons out to people. I had some and I can't find them right now. I must have done something with them. I'm still working on organizing myself. But the ribbons are awareness ribbons. Misty and I have worn them in the past in town, and people ask about them. And when they ask about them, our response is, this is to raise awareness of the hundreds of thousands of children that are victimized daily by the Department of Child and Family Services. And, you know, that's one of our campaigns. And so, you know, like I say, we go through PayPal donation. I don't really like to use crowdfunding and other funding outsourcing, because they like to take a percentage of the funds. And I know that PayPal also does that if you do not have your own PayPal account. So the other way to do the donations is through Facebook. And this is something that Misty has had some luck with. And so I would like to welcome Misty on at this time. Maybe she can give us a little more information on that. Hi, Misty.
Hi, I'm here. I'm just I'm gonna need a few minutes and I'll be right back. I'm sorry. But I will come back.
Okay, thank you, Misty. I want to make sure you're there. Okay, we'll talk to you in a moment. So,
okay, I'll be back.
Michelle, those are the two ways that I like to go with. I like to be very, what is it called? Like open and show everybody exactly what's going on right now. I have to renew the website in January 11th is the due date, and that's $143. So I'm raising funds for that as well. I have gotten some donations for Zoom channel unlimited access, and so I'm going to be setting that up this week. I welcome any and all donations. I really appreciate it. And you know, it's only through our combined efforts that we're going to make any headway here. And that's how I feel about the Parent Advocate Network. That's how I feel about the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Families. And you know, I feel that we want to be able to make sure that all the funds that people donate goes directly towards the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Families and the Parent Advocate Network, because that's where the money is supposed to be. It's for the love of our children that we do this.
Well, Lara, I actually believe, because you're a lot like me. We both probably don't live that well, and what money we have, we sink right into our cause. So, you know, I don't mean that you don't live well, but I just mean it sounds like you sink everything you have. You know, I believe that you're sinking everything you have into your cause, and that's how you're able to still do it after all this time. And I see that you have a fighting spirit, and you're going to make this work. If it's the last thing, that's just my impression. So I don't doubt at all that the money is going to go to where it's supposed to go to.
Well, thank you for your confidence in me, Michelle. And you know, it's not just me, it's all of us. You know, if it's the last thing I do, it's to help our children be reunited with their parents, biological parents, And, you know, even if the biological parents do not live together, that those children have the opportunity to grow up with both of their parents involved in their lives is vitally essential to the well-being of our children. The best interest of our children is for their parents, their biological parents, to be in their lives. And that's something that I really, really can go with here, because they haven't even defined it. They have not defined the best interests of the child. They have made guidelines, but there's no federal definition for the best interests of the child. And yet they continually rip our children away from us and traumatize them, saying, oh, it's in the best interest of the child. How screwed up is that?
Yeah. It's not about the best interest of the child. And, you know, there's a, you know, I'm actually, hopefully, you know, maybe I'm working hopefully within the next few weeks to be drafting a proposal, and hopefully I'll share it with everyone, and hopefully some of you all will give me your input and any constructive criticism you may have, just on maybe opening up some of the confidentiality rules that are, because, you know, it's I mean, you all heard about the child, the baby that died, the 3-year-old that died in foster care recently. No, it wasn't recently. It was in 2015. She swallowed a bag of meth and foster care, went to the hospital, was stabilized, was sent right back to the same foster home. No consequences. Nothing happened. 2 weeks later, swallowed another bag of meth, died. Do you know that if that case 2 years later, had Darren Ketchum, civil rights attorney, not picked up that case, nobody would never have known about what happened to her. And, you know, that makes me sick.
It is very sickening. In Fort Bragg, there was a case of a child who was beaten to death, a baby infant, because it wouldn't stop crying, and it had been placed with its uncle. And the uncle was a meth addict and was repeatedly harming the child because it wouldn't stop crying. And so this is a horrible, horrible situation that we need to address. I agree. And I want to thank you all for joining me tonight in the Parent Advocate Network. I do apologize. I will have to close this window, but I will reopen the station again in less than 10 minutes. If you guys still have something you would like to say, we like to provide as much information and assistance as possible. And Michelle, I would like to work with you. We need to be getting a special time every week together for parents to express their sorrow and loss, and we can help them from that point. And so I would like to see when would be a good day for you and me to talk about that specifically.
Yeah, you know, and I apologize for just being so, my schedule, I have a flexible schedule, which means I never know where I am, and so I apologize for that. And so if you want to schedule a time, would you like to schedule a time now, or do you want to speak about this later?
How about we speak about it later? I can message you with a couple of times that I would have available this week, and we can go from there. Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. Do these folks still want to be able to talk a little bit about the remedies or the work that people are doing across the country? I know that we talked a lot about California and the what is it called? I'm sorry, brain fart. Come on, Fernando, help me.
Well, there's the 42 1983 action, and then we got your Title 18 criminal action, and that's the U.S. C-242, deprivation of rights under color of law.
See, now Fernando knows what's going on with the, I can't remember all of these numbers and subsection.
Well, the 242 is pretty easy. The USC is before that, and then you got your Title 18, and then you got your Title 42. So those are the two. One's civil and one's criminal.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good to hear that we're getting some progress there.
And our main Fourth Amendment, you know, the Fourth Amendment and the Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment is the right to remain silent. You know, you just don't say nothing that's going to be a self-incrimination, you know. Or the Fourth Amendment in regards to property, which, you know, we're finding out that in the law, the way the law is written, that children are defined as property. Yes. But they are dependents under the adult that supervises them, or, you know, is the guardian and control and custody and all that, you know, and the care.
Yes.
However you want to say that, you know.
I just wanted to say I had thought that children were being defined as liberty interests.
Well, no, the liberty interest is the way they litigate the circumstances. So that's a pretty much, the liberty interest is a constitutionally protected right to your child and the access to your children. But the right to have the ability to care and have control and the decision making and all of that above is protected by the Fourth Amendment.
And then
I have a question.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ryan. Go for it.
Has anybody looked in? I don't know if does the AG handle things in California, handle CPS cases?
The Attorney General?
Yes.
Well, which one are you talking about for your state? What's your state?
Well, Arizona. In Arizona, the Attorney General handles the CPS cases here, which is actually a conflict of interest since they're supposed to also handle civil rights and constitutional violations. So they can severely violate your rights, and there's not a damn thing you can do about it because you have no one to turn to here. I'm not sure if California is the same way. That's why I'm asking.
Well, the federal districts are controlled a lot different. And yes, you have a federal district within Maricopa in that area, but the federal district is controlled by the federal government, not by the state. And if it's the state attorney general, that has nothing to do with the federal action. Federal action would have to be brought by the person it's happening to, which would be plaintiff. And then it wouldn't involve the attorney general unless you're suing them as a defendant. Now, if you're suing them, that may hurt your case because the thing is, taking them personally is going to be like taking down your state. You know what I mean? It's like you want to weigh the options, and you don't want to destroy your case by adding someone who's just going to tear it apart.
Well, my case is already tore apart, so it doesn't matter. My family's been destroyed. So my question would still remain, since they handle civil rights and constitutional violations, isn't it a conflict of interest for them to also represent CPS? Since the AG's department... Go ahead.
The conflict of interest is basically we're in a superior court in the state, and we got state officials and all these attorneys, and they're all attorneys. That's the conflict of interest to us, because why are we going to have judges who are attorneys, prosecutors are attorneys, and then we have the attorneys representing us that, you know, don't represent us, that go to and lunch and have all these gatherings with these people who know these people on a personal level? That's a conflict of interest to us. The court that we're at is the wrong court because it's a federal issue of concern, being that the Title IV funding is federal funding, and that we should be in a federal court of law, not a state. And even that, the court of law, we're finding out that it's administrative and it's not anything to do with the real court of law.
All right, I'd like to thank you, Fernando, and Ryan, and Misty, and Veronica, and Michelle for joining us tonight. Would you guys like to come back? I am happy to open the window again if you would be liking to talk some more about this.
Sure. Yeah, I'm down. So the answer to that question was basically federal court in the United States District Court. After that, then you're left up to the Ninth Circuit, because that's what falls over Maricopa and Arizona. And that's the same for California. And that's the same federal court that you go to, being on the appeals side. But once that appeal happens, then the next step is the United States Supreme Court, and we're finding that the pro se litigants aren't being able to access the United States Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
They made a recent rule in regards to that.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that. You have to have an attorney, a federal court attorney.
You have to have a certification or license.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
I mean, that's unconstitutional in the fact that they're trying to permit everything or have a license for that. I mean, it wouldn't be constitutional. I mean, I think everyone has the right to access of those courts, being that they pay federal and state taxes.
Well, we are about to end this call, so I thank you all for joining, and I'm going to reopen the room in less than 10 minutes, and we can talk some more about what we're trying to do with the Coalition for the Protection of Children and Families, and how we're going to set it up so that we can make sure that our funds are going to the right places and that the government is not going to be able to run us down. And so thank you so much, all of you, and